Edwin is suspicious of Hilda accompanying Janet Orgreave to Dartmoor because he knows that George Cannon is in prison there.
Does he always think I'm going to be late? I never am late. Not without good cause. I was the first lady stenographer in all the 5 towns. I sometimes think he forgets that.
Mother?
Hmm?
Ought I to put Dartmoor on the luggage label?
Why did he say Dartmoor? Why did Edwin say Dartmoor? All I said was I'm going to Elise's with Janet. Please telegraph if you're sending money.
Hello there, Sonny. Is it all ready? All ready?
I'm even early.
It's a rotten day.
Yes, Edwin. Close the door, will you?
What is it? Is that all you've had?
Could you let me have £10?
£10 more? Luke, here, child, I've already given you 40 times as much as you could possibly want.
I should be glad if you would let me have it.
Well, I can't. Not now. If anything unexpected turns up, I can send you a cheque.
The cab's here.
It's for Janet.
But why in thunder didn't you say so to start with? Let me see what I can do. Always keep a spare £5 in here. And I think perhaps... Yes. Yeah?
Don't want it, thank you.
Oh.
You do it for her, but you wouldn't do it for me.
Now, Mother!
Goodbye, darling. Be a good boy.
Bye, Mama.
He didn't kiss me goodbye. He's never not kissed me before. Why shouldn't I go to Alicia's? There's nothing wrong with that.
So kind of you, Hilda.
What is?
To come to Dartmoor with me.
Oh, don't be foolish now.
Are you sure that Edwin didn't mind?
Of course not. Why should he? Oh, Janet. Here is the £10 I borrowed from you.
Oh, there's really no hurry.
Do please take it now. I shouldn't want you to forget. Thank you for loaning it to me. Why doesn't she ask me why I needed it? Because she's Janet. That's why. You are not playing your best, Mr. Hesketh. I wish you would.
Honest Injun, I am.
I truly believe you're fibbing. Now, will you please pay me the respect of beating me this time?
I don't know if I can, but here goes. Dashed lucky.
I don't believe you for one instant. Ah. What a truly wonderful place to live.
Quiet, of course. Can be bleak, too, when you get on the moor. But I wouldn't change it.
Yes, I can imagine that.
Dear old Jan. She's had a rough time lately.
Yes.
What with this Johnny business on top of everything else. Let's hope a spell down here will pick her up.
Oh, I think it will.
Dear old thing. Well, I believe tea's arranged for the drawing room. You can never be too sure what the weather's going to do round here, but seeing it stayed fine, if you'd rather we took it outside.
No. Whatever's been planned.
Let's stroll up then, shall we?
Yes? He has everything. Absolutely everything. Yet he's quite unspoiled.
How do you think Alicia's looking?
Magnificent.
So do I. She's ruined for tennis, you know. This baby business is spiffing only puts you right off your game. As a rule, she manages to be hors de combat bang in the middle of the season. She has been able to play a bit this year, but she's not keen. And that's what's up with her ladyship. She's not keen now.
Well, even you can't have everything.
Why, even me? Edwin play much tennis nowadays?
Edwin? Oh, no. Hasn't touched a racket all this season. He's quite otherwise employed.
I hear he's a fearful pot in the Five Towns anyway. Making money hand over fist.
Oh, no. You know, it's quite hard enough making money in Bursley, even in our small way.
I should like to see old Edwin again.
I didn't know you were friends.
Well, we used to see each other pretty often down at Lane End House, after Alicia and I were engaged. He used to play tennis there sometimes. In fact, he once jolly near beat me in a set.
Edwin did?
The same. Funny how you remember things. I remember once. He came across the day we got engaged. It was the dear old Queen's Golden Jubilee Day. Well, I'd popped the proposal a bit before then, but when I asked permission from Mr. Orgreave, he said he wouldn't have it on any account, unless I didn't announce it until Jubilee Day. In honor of Her Gracious Majesty, he said. Strange old boy. I liked him.
Yes.
Anyway, it seems old Edwin had been down to watch the ox. They were roasting an ox in celebration, you know. Jolly big do, being talked about for weeks. Town hall steps, mayor, alderman, that sort of thing. Snag was the weather. The weather turned warm, and the ox just turned, unfortunately. They say you could smell it in the air for days.
I like Bursley.
Oh, I don't know about that. I remember Edwin describing it, though. Can't recall his words or anything, but he had a way of saying things that a fellow somehow thought about afterwards.
Oh, so you noticed that?
Does he still?
Don't know. He used to.
You ought to have brought him. In fact, I quite thought he was coming. I told Alicia to invite him, too, as soon as we knew you were bringing old Jan down.
Oh, no. Alicia did mention something, Alicia did, but, oh, no, Edwin wouldn't dream of coming down here. Works. No holiday all summer.
I'll tell you a scheme. Refuse to join the domestic hearth until he comes and fetches you.
Well, Edwin wouldn't come and fetch me.
We shall see what can be done. I may tell you, we're rather great at getting people down here. Come in.
May I set the tea, sir?
Oh, yes, Foley. I wonder where those girls have got to.
Mrs. Rotherwas has called, sir.
Ah, isn't she staying for tea?
No, sir, I think not, sir.
Well, I'd best just pop out. Excuse me, will you?
Yes, of course.
Oh, Foley, will you bring me a telegraph form next time you come in?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, I envy them. There's no smoke in their curtains, no soot in their trees. They have space, they have air, they have freedom, they have life. Even their servants are perfectly bred. My God, how I envy them.
The children want to let them have their tea out here.
Hey, lass, here we are.
Hey, lad, are you starving? Not at all. You feed me far too well. We believe in eating in the country. We shall even get Janet fat here.
I dare say you shall.
And of course, I must eat just all the time to keep me strong for the dozens of children I mean to have.
Oh, not dozens, not
You
dozens.
wait, I shall. Thank you, Bowley. No pikelets here, I'm afraid, Hilda. Thank goodness for that. But there are Devonshire scones. Ah, Devonshire scones. Well, while I'm here, I shall have everything from Devonshire.
Telegram form, sir.
Oh, thank you, Bobby. Good. Now, while you pour the tea, I shall pour over this wire.
What wire? Oh, secrets, huh?
No secrets at all. I'm going to telegraph to Edwin Clayhanger to come down for the weekend.
Oh, spiffing. You aren't really.
I am. This will bring him running, you'll see.
Wouldn't that be spiffing, Janet?
Oh, yes, it would.
Now, Mr. Hesketh, really, I do assure you that Edward
Too
would...
late. I've started composing now. Tell Mrs. Clayhanger about her visitors, Alicia, and then tell her what's expected of her.
Oh, Mrs. Rotherwas, yes. Milk and sugar, Hilda. Milk, thank you. Mrs. Rotherwas is having a tennis party on Monday, and she wants us all to go over. You too, Hilda. I should have brought her in to meet you, only she was in such a hurry. But who's Mrs. Rotherwas? Well, her husband's a big coal owner in Cardiff, but she's a niece or something to the governor of Dartmoor prison, and she's apparently helping to keep house for dear uncle just now. They'll take us over the prison before tennis. It's awfully interesting. Harry and I have been once. Oh.
Par la position que nous prîmes autour. What the heck is that? Well, it's just no good unless you keep it up.
Found something interesting, Ed?
Hello there, Ingpen.
Unusual to see you about this time of day.
Oh, I've got an appointment with Jimmy Orgreave.
Oh, yes, I heard he'd taken over the family business.
Well, now that Johnny's gone, he's the only architect in the family left.
Yes. Look, Ed, I got a bye to apologize because it always suggests that the apology didn't mean what he said. But on the other hand, if I gave offence in the office the other afternoon...
Oh, of course not, no.
Well, I think I did give offence to Mrs. Clayhanger.
Good heavens, no. You didn't say anything offensive.
Well, another good man ruined by women.
I don't imagine she noticed.
Well, to judge from what she said, she did.
Oh, you know Hilda.
You know, I know myself on a certain tack, and in that situation I should have been more careful. But I won't embarrass you by pressing it. Where is Mrs. Clayhanger?
She's gone to Devon. She's taken Janet down to stay with Alicia, Janet's sister, you know.
Yes, of course. They live on Dartmoor, don't they?
The edge of Dartmoor.
Well, she'll notice the difference from the 5 towns there. How long is she staying?
It's not quite decided. A few days, no more.
I'm surprised you didn't take the chance to pop down yourself.
Strange you should say that. Came last night.
Well, that seems invitation enough. You going?
Oh, no, couldn't possibly.
Why not?
Far too busy. The work's far too much to do.
Well, you must be very badly organized. You telling me it'll all come to a halt because you're away for a couple of days?
No, of course not. It's just, anyhow, I'm not one for jaunting about, you know.
Yes, so I've noticed, and it's high time you made a start. There's quite a bit of world outside these towns.
I don't think I'll start exploring this weekend, though. Well, I must be off and see Jimmy. Not looking forward to that.
Spotted trouble?
No, just 1 or 2 papers to clear up about the works. Rather do business with Johnny, though.
Yes. Anyone had any news of him and Mrs. Chris?
Not as far as I know.
What's Janet going to do about somewhere to live?
Goodness only knows. Stay with Alicia, I expect. What else can she do?
Poor girl. All of a sudden, she's a resident maiden aunt.
Yes.
Not taking the book?
Yes, I think I shall.
Oh.
How much is this?
All in order, I trust?
Seems to be. I'll send you a cheque for the outstanding amount.
Doesn't seem to be much left for you to pay.
Well, this should clear it all up.
Jolly good. Of course, you can't expect me to be too bright about it, mind. Your new works was Johnny's private project. I don't seem to recall his consulting me once. Perhaps he felt I wasn't capable of handling it. Well, if that was the case, I think he might have hung on till he'd properly finished the paperwork. I suppose everyone in the towns expects this business to bust now I'm in charge.
What makes you say that?
Oh, come along, Clayhanger. Mind you, it all surprises me a bit, sitting in this office, which was once so private the old man would scream if I looked in the door. Well, Father was a great man in his way, and I'm not. But even great men have their failings, as you found.
What do you mean?
Oh, don't worry, I'm not being disloyal. But I saw those accounts for the house we built for your father. It's not that he was a deceitful man, he just enjoyed spending money on his family.
There wasn't much put by for Janet here.
Not when he died, perhaps, but she wanted for nothing while he was alive, and I shall do what I can for her out of this. Unless the towns are right, and I sink the ship.
Let's hope not, then, shall we?
Now, that tone you used then, Clayhanger, had the full ring of 5 towns' morality.
I don't think there's any need to be insulting.
Weren't you insulting me?
I certainly didn't mean to.
You know, I can't help noticing that most people I meet seem to treat me like an irresponsible boy who needs a stiffening lecture to put him right.
Now, look here, Jimmy. If you make assumptions like that, you'll find it dashed difficult to do business with anyone.
Now, if that isn't a lecture, then heaven knows what is.
I merely meant...
It doesn't matter. Now, let me make my position clear. I'm married to Elizabeth. Now, I've heard the stories that go around. I have to take her to the theatre at least one night a week. Every other night I must play cards with her and her friends. She's drunk here, she's drunk there. She's a downright bad lot who's dragging me down with her. Well, even supposing a small part of it's true. I gather you saw her one night at the Theatre Royal, so there's no point denying she likes a drink. Well, so do I like a drink. And although from time to time I may wish that things were different, I've decided to settle for the life I've got. I'd never be able to make a life of this office. I'd never be able to make a life of work. Not now, I wouldn't. So I must make my life the life I've got. Deo volente. And with a slice of luck, I shall get the odd commission to design the odd shed. I'm not at all a bad architect when I'm pressed. But if it beats me, then it's beaten me. And not every lecture in these towns will make an ha'porth of difference to that. My life is my wife. And it's the life I've got.
It's the life I've got. Tabby Mansion, Saturday. Dearest Edwin, I've just received your telegram saying that you could not come down here. Please change your mind. I do so hope you will. I think you should bring your dress clothes. As always, passionate love from your wife, Hilda. I should say that's an apology. I should say it is.
The man's mad, of course. What's the point of just saying he'll arrive on Sunday? What time and what train, I should like to know.
He'll hardly arrive now, will he, Harry? Surely the last train's in.
There never was a last train. At any rate, not one he could have got here by. If old Edwin chose the Bristol to Plymouth route, I'll bet a fiver he did. Out-of-date Bradshaw. We've had some changes on that line recently. If old Edwin was using an out-of-date Bradshaw, I've got the old one in the study. I'll just pop in and search it out.
There's no deceiving Harry when it comes to trains. He'll work out just what train Edwin's on and he'll be there to meet him. I've never known him wrong.
Well, it'd be just like any station in Bursley to have the wrong timetable.
But what will Edwin do if he should get to Bristol or Plymouth and find that there are no trains to bring him to Tavistock?
Find a hotel, I suppose.
Oh, yes, I suppose he will.
What are you making?
Jacket for my smallest nephew.
She made another one just before her operation. I think she imagines that otherwise they'd all run about naked.
Oh, Lucia, you are horrible. She knows quite well that that's what I used to say to Mother. Determined to make me feel very old.
Oh, go on. I'm just trying to make you have a rest, that's all.
Oh, rather like knitting, you know. Never used to. I think I've discovered the secret of its attraction. Gives one the impression of being busy while at the same time keeping one's mind quite free. Anyway, I must have something to do.
Look, you certainly needn't worry about something to do. When you've been here for a while and met all our friends, you'll be wishing that life isn't so hectic as it is. Many's the day I've just settled down in the garden and all I mean to do is laze the day away or play with the children. And of course someone calls. We must give them tea and then there are plans made to go to them and so it goes on all summer. And for a good deal of the winter too.
Certainly wish I could live down here, Janet.
Well, I'm not living here, you know. I'm just staying.
Oh, yes.
And you shall stay for a long, long time, as I've said. I must just run up and see if the children are asleep. I know there's a nanny and I'm a worrying mummy, but I just can't feel happy unless I look for myself.
You're so very kind.
Yes.
I can't possibly stay here with them, Hilda.
Why on earth not?
Love them very much, and I love visiting them, but must have my own life somehow, you know. Can't bear to be useless, I really can't. I've got to find, I don't know, it's all so futile otherwise.
Now, Janet, dear, how can you possibly talk like that after all you've done?
Oh, that's stupid. I've done nothing.
Yes, you have.
Well, what have I? It's not what's done that matters. Hilda, darling, do be careful, won't you?
What makes you say that?
Nothing really. It's just that you have so much and you're so very, very happy. Take care of it all.
Now, you just stop being
Solve the mystery? Where's Alicia?
Gone upstairs to see if the children are asleep.
She does that every night, and they always are. Well, Edwin did use the old timetable because there was a late train from Plymouth to Tavistock, but there isn't a late train anymore. So, Edwin will have arrived in Plymouth at 8:53. He'll then have discovered he was stuck. He'll have found an hotel. The Royal, I hope. The others aren't too hot. Then tomorrow morning he'll catch the 8:1 from Plymouth and be in Tavistock at 8:59. He'll get the surprise of his life when I meet him at the station. How on earth did you know I'd be on this train, he'll say. Aha, I shall say. Deduction, that's all. You're to come home to breakfast, then have a rest, then set off to visit Dartmoor prison. We've got things organized for you, old man. Will you come with me, Hilda, and witness my triumph?
No, I stay here and wait for him.
Visit the prison? Hilda's mad. She's quite mad. Have I come all this way, been messed about by trains, spent the night in the worst hotel I've ever seen, just to learn she's planned something as sickening as that? It's mad, quite mad, morbid ain't the word. Well, we shall see. Oh, yes, we shall have this thing out. And about those sacred letters, too. She'll have to be shown she's married to me.
I say, Bolly, where is everyone?
Mrs. Hesketh and Miss Orgreave are in the nursery, sir, and Mrs. Clayhanger has a headache and is taking breakfast in bed.
Oh, dear, I'm sorry. Dashed shame for your wife. Look, if you'll give me 2 secs, I'll run and tell Alicia we're here, and then I'll take you up to the bedroom.
Thank you. You've got to hand it to women. They're clever, all right. Now we shan't have a reunion with everyone there. And she's got an excuse for not going to the prison. Never get a man thinking up something like that.
Oh. Now he's going to be annoyed again. Poor boy.
My poor boy. What a journey.
Oh, no.
So, you've got headache.
I'm so glad you've come, dearest. What about George?
Well, as it was left to me to decide, I thought I'd better ask Maggie to come in the house. Much better than packing him off to Auntie Amp's.
She came.
Of course.
Then you got my letter in time.
Not until Saturday afternoon. Oh, and here's a letter for you. Well, that's done it now. What's she gonna do now? She can't keep it a secret now, surely.
Did you bring your dress clothes?
Of course. But where's the telling what she'll ever do?
Dear Mrs. Clayhanger, I'm writing at once to tell you the news. It is not official yet, and I pray to God day and night that it is true and that nothing will happen at the last moment to prevent it. I travelled to London myself this week and had an interview with a junior, but I gather a permanent and important official at the Home Office. This man has assured me that my husband's innocence is established, and that sometime or another he will be issued with the Queen's pardon. Pray with me that it is soon, although, as I have discovered with the past year or so, nothing is done in a hurry by the government, especially if it be to admit their own mistakes. I cannot thank you enough for all you have...
What is it?
Here. It's about George Cannon. It appears that he was quite innocent in that banknote affair. It's his wife who's been writing to me about it. I don't know why she should, but she did, and of course, I had to reply.
You never said anything to me about it.
I didn't want to worry you, dearest. I knew you had quite enough on your mind with the works. Besides, I had no right to worry you with a thing like that. But of course, I can show you all her letters. I've kept them. Will you, pass me my handbag? On the chest.
It's unanswerable. It's insincere. It's concocted. But it's unanswerable.
Open the bag and take the letters out if you want to read them now.
Oh, no. No.
Isn't it awful? Him in prison all this time.
She'll want some handling, I can see that. A woman never forgets the first man. I suppose he is innocent.
He must be innocent.
Where is he now? Yon?
I believe so.
I thought they shifted them back to London before they released them.
I expect they will do. They may have moved him already.
I expect that's breakfast. You better stick where you are.
Oh, no. I shall be all right soon. I'm going to get up in about half an hour.
Well, how shall you get out to go into the prison?
Oh, Edwin, I must go. I told them I should go.
Told them you should go? What in the name of heaven does that matter? Are you absolutely mad?
I must go.
It's nothing but morbidness. Morbidness! Well, I shan't have it. I shan't let you go. And that's flat.
Hello, Hilda. So you're up.
Can't stay in bed all day.
Headache gone.
Vanished.
Sure you feel equal to going this afternoon?
Oh, yes. It'll do me good.
My God.
Hard circle.
What circles? Can't see anything. Still, who cares? They're here. What price the 5 towns compared to this? Lithography, riches, properties. Futile, every one of them here. I could live alone with her here. And we'd have children too. What a life it would be for all of us.
There's the prison.
Well, why shouldn't she visit it if she wants to? She can't possibly meet him. Where's the harm?
I am sorry the governor's been called away. He was very much looking forward to showing you round himself. But Mr. Jenkins is here. He's a very senior official, and I know my uncle thinks very highly of him. He will escort you all.
Best give it a miss if I'm to open the tennis.
Oh, yes, Mr. Hesketh, we need you here. Besides, you've seen it before.
Oh, yes. I think I'd rather play.
I think I'll stay too, if you don't mind, Mrs. Rotherwas. I'd like to play a set myself later on. I think I'd rather rest if I'm to do that.
I quite understand, Miss Orgreave. I know you haven't been very well.
Well, I shall go to keep Hilda company. I've seen it all before, of course, but it's quite interesting enough to see again.
Well, in that case, I'll stay with Miss Orgrave.
You'll stay here, Mr. Clayhanger?
Yes, I think I shall.
But you can't miss seeing the prison. You can't come to Princetown and miss going round the prison, not when the chance is there.
Well, I think...
Oh, it's a wonderful experience. Believe me, it is. It's simply wonderful. So interesting, too. What do you say, Mrs. Clayhanger?
Please come, Edwin.
You won't be alone, you know. You'll have Alicia with you.
I should like you to come.
It was first occupied in 1809 by French prisoners of war, for whom it was built.
Is that really so?
For the French and the Americans. It was first used for criminals in 1850, when Australia objected to them being transported there.
It's a very clever choice of location. Built to last, too.
Oh, yes.
Built to last. Parker subjectus.
Spare the humble.
Oh, yes, of course.
Virgil in a place like this.
Sir Jenkins, do you know Charles Pelshaw of the Scots Greys? He's got a place near here.
Can't say I do, Mr. Andrews.
It's around Yelverton way. Jolly nice place.
God, he's so
been round here, I
blasted
know.
loud. He dance. It's just like going to a show to
I
him.
mustn't miss it. Well, it's a touching impressive entrance, I must say. What about escapes now? Anybody get away?
Never.
Impossible, I suppose. I mean, even when they're working at stone quarries or on the moor? Warders are pretty good shots, eh?
Pretty good. Mind you now, there is one way to escape. Of course, what I'm telling you is confidential, Mr. Andrews.
Oh, of course.
If one of our Dartmoor farms came on suddenly, and kind friends outside had hidden a stock of clothes and food in an arranged spot, then theoretically, I say theoretically, a man might get away.
Dash difficult. I mean, you'd want a miracle to succeed in this countryside.
Nobody ever has, Mr. Andrews.
I suppose you still have the silent system. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Awful it must be.
Well, you've got to have discipline, you know. It's much better for the prisoners in the long run. It shows them where they are.
That's it. This is one of the modern parts of the prison, of course.
Oh, yes, one can see that.
Are these cells occupied?
Not yet, Mrs. Hesketh. It's too early. Most of the prisoners are still working. Oh, perhaps you'd like to see the inside of one.
Why not?
Harris! Open up. Clayhanger, Mrs. Hesketh. As I say, this is one of our most modern, of course. We don't really have time to go over the buildings built for the Napoleonic Wars. Not that we use those at all. Unless we're very full up. They're nothing like so bright and spacious as these.
This may even be his cell.
And
He may have been here for months.
Looks jolly healthy.
For years.
Right.
Knowing he was innocent.
Behind the prisoners we played.
He may have thought about me in this cell.
Greek Testament.
Do you mean there are prisoners who can read Greek?
Kind of stunning, isn't it? Just shows the heights from which some criminals fall.
Well, they often ask for things like that on purpose. They think it's effective. They're very naive, you know, at bottom.
Explains everything. Must be a bit like dealing with children.
In some ways, yes. Tough children, though. Make no mistake about that. Well, shall we move along? Mrs. Hesketh? Mrs. Clay?
I say, look at that. What's the net for? Oh, to provide against suicide?
Yes.
Good idea. Clean as a new pen, isn't it?
Can't risk infection spreading through here.
What other sort of work do you then do? I mean, apart from the quarries and domestic chores.
I think you might be quite surprised at that. We have a tailor's shop for a start.
Do you mean you can trust them with needles and scissors?
Most of them.
That's remarkable.
It's discipline that does it. Discipline and fairness. Every prisoner has the right of personal appeal to the governor.
And do they appeal?
Oh, they come with their stories of grievances.
Which often aren't true.
Which are never true. They're always lies. Always. It shows the kind of material we have to deal with.
Suppose you can tell for certain when they aren't telling the truth.
We can. And now I wonder what Mrs. Rotherwas will be thinking if I don't restore you to her.
Yes, best be all getting back. She's such an hospitable lady. It's a fascinating place, though. Most interesting. I'd certainly care to study it at greater length sometime.
I'm sure that can be arranged. In fact, I'd be most happy to accompany you.
Thank you. I look forward to it. It's a wonderful job you fellows do. Truly wonderful.
Would you like some tea? I think you should have something. Right. Sit over here. I'll bring you a cup.
If I'd have been half an inch slow.
She depends on me. I'm all she has to stand by. Have you decided about dinner?
Yes, I shan't come down. I should like to rest.
Right. I'm sure they'll understand.
Yes.
They know you had a headache this morning.
Yes.
Well, finish dressing then.
Go. Why must you do everything so carefully?
I'm all right.
Nothing you want at all? I'll go down then.
They must let him out. They must. He's an innocent man. They can't keep him in there. I should have screamed out in that prison today. I should have screamed out, let him out. He's an innocent man. He looked like a beaten animal. Pardon him. Pardon? Do you pardon a man when you've ruined him? It's so grotesque, it's laughable. No. It would never happen to Edward. He'd never do anything wrong. He'd never do anything dangerous. He's not a rebel. I am. So is George Cannon.
Yes, I would rather he stayed in prison. It's only human, isn't it? I'd rather he'd never been born. But I'll control myself. I swear I shall. There's no other way to keep control over her. Poor girl, what are you doing?
I'm just setting the bed to rights. What have you got there?
I thought I'd ask for some tea for you. Nearly the whole blessed household wanted to come and see you, but I wouldn't have it.
Did you recognize him?
Not quite, but I knew at once. I could see which of them it must be.
Isn't it awful?
Yes. I suppose he is innocent.
Oh, I'm quite sure of it. I do. want you to read all those letters. You know, the ones I had from Mrs. Cannon. Or Mrs. Cannon's. I was meant to show them to you. There's all the proof of his innocence there.
Yes, I will read them, but later.
She's been wonderful, quite wonderful. She travelled all over trying to find witnesses. Then the chief witness died, and she had to find others. Then finally, a man who knows George Cannon came out of prison himself. He'd been sentenced for some other crime. And he swore affidavits to Mr. Cannon's innocence.
Yes, it certainly sounds as if he's innocent this time, right enough.
But something ought to be done. Don't you think something ought to be done, Edward?
Something has been done. Something is being done.
There's something else.
There's only one thing to be done.
What is it?
Wait. That's all. It's not the slightest use you trying to rush these public departments. You can't do it. You only get annoyed for nothing at all. Now, you take that from me, my child.
I wanted to explain to you about that £10.
That's all right. That's all right.
But I must tell you. I had a letter from Mrs. Cannon asking for money. She had spent so much trying to clear her husband that she literally beggared herself. She needed £10 desperately for legal expenses. Well, I felt I couldn't ask you for it, not for that. So I borrowed it from Janet. So I had to pay it back, hadn't I?
How is Janet?
Oh, she seems to go splendidly, don't you think so?
Well then. Shall we go home tomorrow?
Shall we? Oh. What time's the train?
Very gloomy, Cannon. By this time next week, you should be a free man again.
Would you expect me to say thank you for that?
Perhaps not. But you're luckier than some. Some men are innocent and serve their full time. I don't say that officially, mind. Every man behind bars is officially guilty.
How else would a judge keep his sanity?
Quite. Anyway, from what I hear, you must be very grateful to your wife.
Grateful to her? Oh, yes. She'll expect that, all right.
What do you mean?
I intend no offense, officer, but from now on, or at least from next week, what I mean, what I think, or what I do are no concern of the police force.